Hi guys. Welcome. New Miraculous story name is Heartbreak and Misery. Please subscribe my channel and like story video and watch video till to end if you want to enjoy. Let's start. Short extract from the story. Send her an Adrian commanded. Moments later, a couple of men came in dragging a girl who had a blindfold on her eyes. I finally found you, Mia, or should I call you Marinette? He smirked as he signaled with his hand for the men to remove the blindfold. Her bluebell eyes stared at him coldly. She had never expected to see this man ever again in her life, but here he was. Hate filled every corner of her heart as she kept looking at him. How I've missed you. Did you not miss me? Adrian asked. He stood up from his seat and walked up to Marinette. He crouched down on his knees and caressed Marinette's face with his right hand. He admired her every feature. I asked you a damn question. So answer me. Did you miss me? He said as he clutched Marinette's face tightly and aggressively. Tears filled up in Marinette's eyes. I will never miss someone like, you, she managed to say. Adrian let her go and got up. He smirked and then slapped Marinette on the face. That's for leaving me, bitch, and this is for giving me all that bullshit of I love you, and I will always do, he said as he slapped her again. And this is for getting my father killed before I could do it, he said, and slapped her again. And this is for making me fall for you, he said, but this time he didn't hit her, but let her be. Marinette coughed out blood. She gathered her strength and managed to speak. You deserved it all, she said. A small smirk formed on her lips. Adrian didn't even hesitate to slap her hard on the face. I hate you more than you can imagine. But I also can't you see die. But that doesn't mean I can't see you get tortured, he said. Take her to my bedroom and ask one of the female maids to get her some clothes, he said. He looked at her one last time and just walked out of the room, leaving nothing behind but the little bit of hope for their relationship. Marinette's POV. MOM. Dad. I screamed at the sight of my parents' dead bodies. Tears streamed from my eyes like a raging river. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down, the police officer said to me, but I couldn't care less. My parents were dead. I saw the other policemen cover up their bodies. My heart sank into my stomach. I felt sick. I felt alone. Why had this happened to me? What did me and my parents do to deserve this? The time of death is 20:21 p.m. Cause of death, murder, the policewoman said. She walked up to me and put her hand on my shoulder. Her eyes reeked of pity. I didn't like that. I didn't want their sympathy. I wanted results. I wanted the person responsible for this. I'm sorry, dear, for your loss. But do you have any family member that you can stay with? The woman asked me. I looked at her, eyes red from crying my eyes out. No, I answered blankly. Oh dear, do you know your parents' passwords? Maybe you can find a relative's contact in there that can help you out, she asked. No, I answered, obviously lying through my teeth. There was no way that I was going to stay at my aunt's place. Her daughter hated me, and her son wasn't much of the attentive type. The woman sighed out deeply. She looked at the officer that was standing behind me. Dear, are you sure you don't know any family member? Or can't you stay over at a friend's house, or have a friend come here to look after you, she asked. I just brushed the woman's hand off my shoulder and looked at her dead in the fucking eyes. I want to know who killed my parents. I don't care where I have to sleep. I want answers, and not your damn sympathy, I said coldly. Miss Dupain-Ching, please calm down. The male officer tried to calm me down. Don't tell me to fucking calm down. I want answers, I yelled out. I saw the officers look at each other. Something about the way they looked at each other told me that they knew exactly who was up behind this. The ambulance is here, one of the officers said. Take the bodies, the senior officer commanded. 2 officers lifted the bodies and put them on stretchers and pulled the bodies out and placed them into the ambulance. Officer Ben, please hack these phones. Maybe we'll get some information about her relatives from it, the senior officer said. Don't worry, my dear, we will find the culprit who did this, he said. I bitterly smiled. Who were they trying to fool with their fake concern? It's obvious that they don't want to tell me who did it. How would they ever find this culprit when they already know who it is? In the meantime, can you please come with us to the police station so that we can ask you a couple of questions that's related to the case, the officer said. I simply nodded, and the policewoman walked me to the police car, and off we drove to the police station, a Gresty mansion. You do know why we had to do it, right, Mr. Agresti said. Adrian looked down. He nodded his head, and a deep sigh escaped from Mr. Agresti's mouth. Good, he said. Adrian took his eyes from the floor, and they met with his father's. He had his hands folded behind his back. Is there something that you want to talk to me about? Mr. Agresti asked. Adrian smirked and just nodded his head. There's nothing, he said blankly. Okay, his father answered. Guard, please escort him to his room. That won't be necessary, father. I'll be going somewhere, Adrian said. And where would that be? His father asked. I don't think that I'm obligated to always tell you about my whereabouts, Adrian said with a grin. Very well. You may leave, Mr. Agrest said. Adrian bowed and just left the room. He was ready to drink away his problems. He got into his black Lamborghini Aventador and drove off to a bar to relieve his thoughts.